What do you think about the crime in Davenport?
Crime can be a concern in certain areas, as with many cities. It's important for newcomers to be aware of the neighborhoods and do their research.
AI is taking over the world, and a lot of people are worried about it. But here's the thing. I talk to AI all the time when I'm making these videos, when I'm making content, and it's kind of interesting in the points that ChatGPT makes. So I figured, why not have a debate with ChatGPT and see what he has to say about living in Davenport. And luckily for you, that's exactly what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna have him listen to me, and we're gonna go over some topics and see what he has to say. There is no way for me to know what he's going to say because it's AI. We're gonna find out and hopefully discuss some great things today, and we'll see what it's all about. All right, let's get started. Hey, ChatGPT, your name is Steve, and you're gonna debate me on what it's like living in Davenport, Iowa. Are you good with that?
Absolutely. I can be Steve and debate the pros and cons of living in Davenport with you. Let's get started whenever you're ready.
All right, Steve. So, what do you think about the weather here in Davenport, Iowa? Is that good, bad, indifferent? What do you think?
Well, Alex, the weather in Davenport can be quite a challenge. The winters can get brutally cold, and the summers can be pretty humid. It's definitely something anyone considering a move should be prepared for. What's your take on it?
I agree with you. The winters here can be very brutal, very cold, but this year honestly hasn't been terribly bad. Now on the flip side, you talked about the summers, and the summers are very, very humid. A lot of people don't know that about Iowa and Davenport, but the summers are super humid because of all the corn and soybeans that we got grown here, and people aren't expecting that when they move here.
That's a great point. The humidity can definitely catch people off guard, especially if they're not used to it. The lush greenery and the agriculture are beautiful, but they do come with that sticky summer air. How do you usually handle it?
I usually handle it by sitting in the house with some AC, and in the wintertime, obviously, the house with the furnace, but it's definitely something you have to be prepared for because it's not like this everywhere. So if you haven't been to the Midwest and not experienced a cold winter or a hot summer, it's going to be a little bit of a shock for you.
Definitely. Having good heating and cooling is a must. It's all about being prepared and knowing what to expect. And once you're used to it, there's a lot to appreciate about living here. What do you think?
I agree. Now, I've showed you my opinion. I'm curious, if you're playing devil's advocate, what you would say when it comes to the weather living in Davenport.
From a different perspective, the changing seasons can actually be a big draw. You get to experience all 4 seasons, with beautiful falls and springs in between. It's perfect for those who enjoy variety and different outdoor activities throughout the year. It's all about how you look at it.
It's a good point. A lot of people want to get the 4 seasons, and places like Phoenix or LA, it's the same season all year round. Not technically, but it feels the same all year round. So people that are moving here, they do enjoy getting those 4 seasons. So that's a great point.
Absolutely. Experiencing the distinct seasons can add a lot of charm and variety to life. It's a unique aspect of living in Davenport that some people truly cherish.
Absolutely. Now that's enough of talking about weather, as it's probably one of the more boring topics. What do you think we should talk about next if you're against moving to Davenport?
How about we talk about the job market? It's a big factor for anyone considering a move. We could explore the types of job opportunities available and how the local economy might affect newcomers. What do you think?
That's good. I'll let you start and tell me what you think as far as negative parts of the job market with Davenport.
All right. One potential downside could be that the job market in Davenport might not be as diverse or robust as in larger cities. Some people might find fewer opportunities in specific industries, which could be a concern.
I agree with that. I feel like Davenport is definitely more of a manufacturing hub, but we do have things like Amazon, Sterilite is out there. We have the Oscar Mayer, which is kind of funny. Oscar Mayer Wienermobile shows up all the time because we have Oscar Mayer close by. And we have insurance and real estate and all sorts of different things. But I guess when you're looking at it from a bigger city perspective, it could be probably a little bit pigeonholed in our industries here.
That's a good point. While there are job opportunities in certain sectors, it might feel limited compared to bigger cities with more diverse economies. This could be a factor for anyone considering a move and looking for specific career paths.
Yeah. What would you say the worst thing about Davenport is when it comes to jobs?
The worst thing might be that if someone is in a niche field or looking for rapid career growth, Davenport might not offer as many opportunities as larger urban areas. It can feel a bit limiting for some career paths. Would you agree?
I would, but you already talked about that. Is there anything else?
Another concern could be that some industries might not have as much stability, especially if they're tied to local economic fluctuations. This could make job security a concern for some people.
That's a very good point. And locally speaking, we are tied with John Deere. It's actually over in Moline, and they're very cyclical on the job market. They have great years for agriculture, and sometimes they don't. So we do see a lot of layoffs when it comes to that agricultural section. It's not just John Deere, but they're the biggest employer in the Quad Cities and in Davenport. So it's definitely something to consider when moving here, because that's a possibility for sure.
Absolutely. When a major employer like John Deere experiences fluctuations, it can have a significant impact on the local economy and job market. It's definitely something for potential movers to keep in mind.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so we talked about jobs and we talked about weather. What other issues do you see with moving to Davenport, Iowa?
Another issue could be the infrastructure and public transportation. If someone is used to a more developed public transit system, they might find Davenport lacking in that regard. It can be a challenge for those who rely on public transport.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I get this all the time. I had a client move here, or wants to move here, and her big criteria is that she has to be close to a bus stop because of her situation, which is okay, but in Davenport and the Quad Cities as a whole, the public transportation is fairly limited, and if you need to be close to a bus stop, it limits a lot of areas that you can or cannot be in just because of that aspect of it. And we do see some infrastructure problems. The famous one where we had a building collapse in downtown Davenport. It's still an ongoing investigation, so it's definitely a problem when it comes to infrastructure. But that doesn't mean everything is bad. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. While there are challenges with infrastructure and public transportation, Davenport still has a lot of positive aspects to offer. It's about weighing these factors and finding what works best for each individual.
I would agree. The thing with public transportation is, yes, it's limited, but most people here are providing their own transportation, whether it's car, friends of cars, Uber, Lyft, that sort of thing. So it's definitely easier to get around. And when you are here and you do have your own vehicle, the traffic is very, very good. It's hardly ever a traffic jam. The only exceptions are maybe I-74, 53rd Street in Davenport, John Deere Road. But that's very few and far between, and at very certain times of the day. But besides that, it's very easy. You can go from one side of the Quad Cities to the other within 25 to 35 minutes, which is astounding when you think about how large of an area landmass-wise the Quad Cities is.
That's definitely a plus. Easy commutes and minimal traffic can really enhance quality of life. It's one of those aspects that can make living here very convenient.
I'm glad you agree. What would you like to talk about next as far as negative things when it comes to Davenport, Iowa, and moving here and or living here?
Another aspect could be the entertainment and cultural scene. While there's definitely local charm, some might find fewer options for nightlife, concerts, or large cultural events compared to bigger cities. What do you think?
I hear this a lot, and I hear it a lot from people that are local, but not necessarily that have moved in. Now, this is interesting because I am a transplant myself, and the thing that surprised me about the Quad Cities is the ability to find something to do all the time. Whether it's Davenport, Bettendorf, Moline, Rock Island, you have options. The Davenport area, the Davenport city of Davenport, is going to be the most amount of options. They have the downtown down there, they have the Bix, they have all sorts of different events along the riverside, and all sorts of events in downtown. So it's cool in that aspect. The thing I always tell people, if you're looking for something to do, you can find it, which is really, really nice. But I understand from a local perspective, and I hear this from locals, is, okay, I feel like I've done everything here. That's why I feel like I'm bored all the time. I can see that. There's a lot of running events. The Bix is a great example. It's been going for 50 years. Everybody attends it, but after doing it 5, 6, 7, 8 times, it probably gets pretty boring after that. So I think it's a mixture of, if you're looking for it, you can find it. If you're not and you're kind of bored of the things that you've done, I can see it being boring. What do you think?
I agree. It really depends on what someone is looking for and how engaged they are with the community. There's definitely a lot to explore if you know where to look. It might just take a bit more effort to uncover all the hidden gems.
Yeah, I'm glad you agree with that, but I know it's not all rainbows and unicorns. Like I said, the locals sometimes don't really like it because they feel like they've done a lot of it. In fact, I interviewed somebody that was a local that came back during the summer Bix, and he said that exact thing, which we might cut to and talk about.
Biggest drawback, as much as there is stuff to do, sometimes if you do it too much, then there's not a lot of more. There's less opportunity once you do everything. But if you like something that much, it's good to do. But if you like a variety, there is a variety, but it's easy to get to all of it quick is what I would say.
But either way, I think it's a great point for a local that's grown up here. They feel like they've done all the major events. The thing is there's always new things coming if you're looking for it.
Absolutely. Staying open to discovering new events and activities can keep things fresh. Even for locals, there's always something new or different to experience if they're willing to look. It's all about perspective and staying curious.
Absolutely. All right, what else do you got for me? What other things, if somebody's moving here, they need to know about? And look on the negative side. What negative things do you think could be out there?
Another potential downside could be the overall pace of life. If someone is used to a fast-paced, bustling city, Davenport might feel a bit slow or quieter in comparison. That can be an adjustment for some. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it kind of goes back to the topic we just talked about, where there's not something going on all the time everywhere. Again, there's things to do if you're looking for it. So I think that's a little bit of a mute point. Let's move on to the next one.
Sure. Another aspect might be the healthcare options. While there are good medical facilities, some might find fewer specialized services or a need to travel for certain medical care. That could be a consideration. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's possibly a consideration, but I also think that we have a decent healthcare system. We have 2 major hospitals here, Unity Point, and it was Genesis, now it's Mercy One Genesis. I think Mercy One bought them out. But we have 2 pretty good hospital systems here with clinics all over. You're correct, if you're getting something super special done, there's a chance you might have to travel. The thing with the traveling is we have Iowa City not too far away, which is one of the best hospital systems, not just in Iowa, but all around. People come from all around for it, especially for a children's hospital. So yes, generally speaking, the hospital systems, we have 2 major ones here, but if you need something super specialized, there's a chance you might travel. But overall, for most things, the 2 hospital systems are going to get it done.
That's a fair point. Having 2 solid hospital systems locally is definitely a plus, and the proximity to Iowa City for specialized care adds an extra layer of support. It seems like Davenport offers a good balance for most healthcare needs.
I agree. What else could we talk about while we have you on the camera?
We could also touch on community and social life. Sometimes newcomers might find it challenging to break into established social circles or find activities that match their interests. Does that resonate with you?
It does resonate with me. When I first moved here, I knew nobody here, and I literally had $200 to my name. So not only did I didn't know anybody, but I had no money to go do things. But here's the thing about that. You're moving here, there's a good chance you're moving for a job, for somebody that you might know here. There's always a reason. And when you do move here, if you put yourself out there, the community will respond. The one way I did it is I got involved with a lot of nonprofits. Right now, in fact, as I'm speaking, we are planning our Putt Around with Big Brothers Big Sisters. Huge fundraiser event for them. And I met a lot of people through that, but I met a lot of people through my dog park committee. I met a lot of people through the park ambassador community. So there's things, if you put yourself out there, it's easy enough because a lot of locals will respond in kind and they want to be a community, and you don't really get that a lot of other places.
That's a fantastic point. Getting involved in community activities and nonprofits can really help newcomers build connections and feel at home. Davenport's community spirit can be a big asset for those willing to engage.
Right. What do you think about the crime in Davenport?
Crime can be a concern in certain areas, as with many cities. It's important for newcomers to be aware of the neighborhoods and do their research. That said, many parts of Davenport are quite safe, and getting involved in the community can also help create a sense of security. What do you think?
Yeah, there's limited stuff I can say about it as with my license of being a real estate agent. But the thing I will say is doing your own research is crucial. I actually got to make a video with the city of Davenport's police officers, and I got to talking to one of them, and he was telling me about the Good Project or Good Neighbor Project. And it's a really fantastic thing that is in Davenport where they have a map online. And if you're looking to move in a certain neighborhood, one of the neighbors has risen their hand and said, hey, if anybody's moving here, give me a call. I'll tell them all about the neighborhood in a first-person perspective, which is really, really cool. That's on the City of Davenport's website, so I think it's a great resource. But not only that, if you contact me, I also have what we call a crime map. So give me a call, send me a text. I can send you that crime map because crime is a concern in every city, not just Davenport, and you want to know what you're getting into. So I can have some resources available for you. Give me a call. Again, my number is popping up down below. So I'm glad that you brought that up. So if anybody out there is looking and they want to know about crime, hey, we got the resources for you.
That sounds like a great resource. It's really helpful for people to have those tools and personal insights to make informed decisions. Thanks for sharing that.
Absolutely. Now we're getting up there in time. Let's talk about one last super big item that you want to talk about. What do you think our last item we need to talk about is?
Let's talk about the cost of living. It's a crucial factor for anyone considering a move. How affordable is Davenport compared to other places?
So Davenport is very affordable compared to other places around the United States. We are ranked among some of the most affordable housing, among the most affordable groceries in the United States. So that's a big, big benefit when you're moving here. The average price point in Davenport is around $200,000, which is well below the national average. So that's great when you're making a move here, especially because your dollar is going to go further. Your salary may not look like it's as much, but that dollar goes a lot further, so it's really good when it comes to affordability and living here. So that's a great point. I'm glad you brought it up.
Absolutely. That affordability can make a big difference, especially for families or first-time homebuyers. It's definitely a major plus for Davenport.
Right. Awesome. Now, what did I say your name was again? Steve, right?
Yes, that's right. You called me Steve.
All right, Steve. I appreciate your time. Any last message for the people watching the video before we head on out?
Sure. Just remember, every city has its pros and cons. Do your research, get involved in the community, and you'll find what makes Davenport special. Thanks for watching.
Awesome. Now, if you're moving here and you want to know the ins and outs of the city, just like Steve said here, give me a call. My number is popping up down below. I am a licensed realtor here in Davenport, and I love helping you make the right decision on where you need to be. But in the meantime, if you're thinking about moving here and you want to see what Davenport looks like, check out this video, and I take you all around the city to show you exactly what it looks like.
That sounds great. Best of luck with your move, and feel free to reach out if you need any more guidance. Take care.
I'm not moving, but thank you, Steve.
You're welcome, Alex. If you need anything else, just let me know.
Sounds good.